Yo, welcome to Carter's Corner Pocket, where we feel the rocket. Today, talking GameStop. I want to make sure my mic's working. My bad. Hope everybody's doing good. It's been a while, but whatever. I'm still here, still buying GameStop stock. I'm looking at GameStop right now. It looks like we're bouncing off. Look at this. It looks beautiful right now. This is the daily chart, I believe. I was about to have only like 20 minutes, but my wife went to go pick up the kids. I'm watching the baby, so if the baby wakes up, I have to go continue the stream over here with the baby. Regardless, GameStop's looking good. It looks like we're bouncing right over here. We have this triangle we drew out. I don't know. That's just a downtrend line that will probably end up breaking and launching upwards. But yeah, GameStop's looking good. Let's go ahead and take a look. Here's the key support resistance level from back in the day. You see, it's been resistance, resistance, resistance. We almost broke out of it when Keith Gill came back when he texted. Yeah, he hit me up. No, when he tweeted, right, the gamer leaning forward. Keith Gill, and look, we busted through this resistance. It's 50. It's about the 200 levels pre-split. We're forming this triangle right now. This Dorito right here. And it's looking good because this is basically the 200-day moving average. I'm about to confirm that. But yeah, GameStop, happy to be on here, happy to be talking. I guess we dropped a little bit below, but whatever. You can tell this is support, this is support, this is support. All over here it's forming. Another thing, this is the daily chart. Encompasses 1 year time frame. So let's take a look. You can see bullish divergence is still forming. I mean, I thought it was bullish divergence over here. I even tweeted it out like an idiot, but I mean, I really don't care. Yeah, see, I thought it would be right here, it would bounce off here, but we still have it forming because you can see the extremity of the decline, like over here. It's almost flat. It's not completely flat, but you can see right here. What's going down, Einstein? I see you, man. Hope you're doing good. You can still see bullish divergence over here because look at this decline right over here. See how sharp that decline is? And then over here, the decline, I mean, it's basically practically flat. So yeah, expect a bounce, expect a large bounce coming up. And this is on the daily chart, on the longer time frame. We're coming into earnings, which we're probably going to deliver $100 million profit. Here's my little thing that I drew. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. I can't even remember why or when or how, the rhyme or reason of it. I think that came from back in the day, probably just looking at charts from the low before, prior to the squeeze. But yeah, that's where I'm gonna be. That's where I'm gonna live and die with. What's going on, B More? Hope you're doing good. Getting into all your crypto stuff. That's not me. That's not me. But I like hearing your content. It's very good. And another thing is, you were talking about Roaring Kitty. I think it was yesterday or day before yesterday. Yeah, having a kid, I don't even remember the days. They just mix up together. But yeah, I'm gonna play on this. Hopefully, I get to it. I should be able to get to it. Um, it's really Roaring Kitty in his latest live stream and his Ryan Cohen sentiment. It's the latest. It's the latest stream that we have from him. The latest words, his sentiment towards it, how he thinks it's a two part operation. Now we're in the transformation part of it. But yeah, I'm gonna get into that. Looks good. I gotta take my kids out to like CCD to their church classes, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. And I'm working. This is technically my lunch break, 4 p.m. lunch break. Because I've been working nonstop all morning. I was hoping to go live around 12. Didn't work out, but yeah. Let me even see what I have over here. I don't even remember. Darker than dark pools. Welcome to Wall Street's private rooms. I mean, I really don't even feel like talking about this. It's just nonstop. It's about exercising control, what liquidity broker wants to interact with to achieve better execution quality. Says Roman Ginnis, CEO of Imperative Execution. I mean, you know the deal with dark pools. You know, GameStop's about 51% shares traded in the dark pool. It says the problem we have is how do we identify good versus bad liquidity? I mean, it's always a liquidity issue with them. Global head of quant strategy at Jefferies, who estimates 15 in every 100 shares executed by the firm's algorithms currently move via a room. That's the dark rooms, private rooms, dark pools. In using private rooms, you can prioritize who you want to interact with. So it's an absolute setup. They can navigate where they want, where the liquidity goes to, where they want to direct the shares to impact the price. And this is probably what Ken Griffin was talking about when he said that they set the price. The market maker set the price of yeah. So I really don't want to get into that too much. This was just something to touch on. It's a new article out. I'm sure there's GameStop articles out right now, which I have not seen.
Factor. And then
But let me see. I'm messing this all up. Let's see. Here's Dark Pool. Now it's gone up 52%. Another thing, GameStop's up 2% with only 2.5 million in volume, light volume. We're probably gonna come. Oh, it's already 358. We're half the average volume. That is ridiculous, and we're up 2%. Nvidia's on a downward trend, 1.5%. You know, Nvidia's been carrying the market forever. Um, they're doing. Is this? No, that's GameStop. Great. They broke out of this rising wedge right over here. They retested that, and now to me, it seems like they're on a downward trend. Um, that's just what it looks like to me. So we'll see how far the market pulls back. We know what is it? We know it's propped up with Nvidia. This has gone up and up and up. What is pre-split? It's around what almost $1,200 a share. They're round tripping. You can see the let's see, where are they at on the EMA? I guess they bounced up. EMA isn't exact, but that's why I don't know. I invest in a company. I invest in companies. Company. I invest in people. I invest in Ryan Cohen. I invest in Larry Chang. You know, because I trust my money with them. They put all their money in. They pay themselves $0. This is like beating a dead horse. We get on here, say it endlessly, but that's what it is. You have to invest in the people navigating the company, because the day to day basis it can be manipulated, as you can see with dark pools. You know, Jim Cramer. That it's all hand in hand with pension funds, non-bank financial institutions. It encompasses hedge funds, pension funds, private equity. It's crazy to me the way that when you really do research on how the world is leveraged. I was looking at some posts talking about I forgot, was it J.P. Morgan's leverage? How they're 43x or 430 something times their actual cash in leverage. That's crazy to me. How can we do? How can we go about doing that? And the thing is, when they fail, they never have to fess up to it. They never have to own up to it. So earnings is coming up. Ryan Cohen's father, nothing to do with earnings. His father's birthday is today. Um, I'm not going to look at it today. I've looked at it before, but that article where he was interviewed, asking about his father, taught him all his business principles, who he is as a man with faith, getting up. Like he talked about his father. He said his father was always the first one in. His father owned a glassware company. His father was always the first one in, last one to leave. Those are the people you want. Um, Football, you want a quarterback. That's the first one in, last one to leave. You wanna show up at 5:30 a.m. and be like, how the hell did you get here before me? You know, you want someone like that. So that's who he is. He's a hard worker, working nonstop. You see him doing customer service. I think Be More, you mentioned that customer service on Twitter, right? What other CEOs are doing that? Adam Aron's busy sexting. You know, he's busy sexting. Like, could you imagine what the media's reaction would be like? This lets you know everything you need to know in the narrative that they're suppressing GameStop, Ryan Cohen, and trying to really guide this, keep the public away. Adam Aron and his whole sexting thing, nothing came of that. They still talk about him. Um, it's absolutely nuts. And if Ryan Cohen were to get wrapped up in half of that disgusting behavior, you know, I don't even know how you want to measure it. If he were to ever get caught up in half of it, the media would crucify him, absolutely crucify him. Adam Aaron, they tell you Ryan Cohen doesn't say a word. He doesn't communicate anything. Adam Aaron communicates like popcorn buckets, all types of stupid stuff. Zoom meetings. He talks nonstop. He argues with investors in movie theaters, and they still praise him. That's because it's all funded by Apollo. You know that. I mean, I don't know. I haven't even looked at the chat so far after Be More, but yeah, on the On the horizon, we have rising inflation expectations. University of Michigan's consumer survey, the 1 year inflation's expectations came in at 4.9%. The expected was 4.3%. 5 to 10 year inflation expectations are 3.9%. Expected to 3.4% to come in at 3.4%. So overall, it's rising. I mean, what the Fed's not going to cut rates. The labor market views have softened. Households' expected unemployment rates are set to rise. Yeah, it's going to rise by an amount seen in recessionary periods. So get ready for it. Investor sentiment. This is another thing. U.S. Treasuries are the most bullish in 3 years. A Bloomberg survey came in. Sorry, I'm looking. I'm checking. Let's see. I got my baby monitor right here. Um, yeah. So the Bloomberg survey came in 77%. What the heck? Oh, my daughter's smothering my other daughter. Okay, cool. So, my bad, my bad, guys. Investor sentiment on U.S. Treasuries the most bullish in 3 years. Bloomberg. This is a Bloomberg survey. 77% of respondents back Treasuries. Um, this amount of the thing is this amount of conviction um, that the long Treasury trade is maybe crowded. Like it's going to go the opposite way. This is part of being a contrarian. This is part of investing in GameStop. This is part of why Ryan Cohen has been initially got into GameStop. It's a contrarian play, and he said he's a contrarian. Um, when the public crowds one area, it dips down. A few streams ago, like maybe 4 streams ago, I was talking about um, what was it? How people were piling into stocks, and the sentiment is the most bullish it's ever been, and and in the end, that means like a pullback's coming. Basically, I think that was a Bank of America consumer sentiment survey or investor sentiment survey. Um, they just equated the bullishness to bearishness, and right after that stream, Nvidia did that major pullback from the 150s. It was this right over here. So yeah, I mean it's obviously a setup. The tools, the charting, all of that. Like I think this B more made a good point. Like Wall Street is teaching you how to analyze charts, and then when you go and look at history, people that try to invest based on like, oh, I'm getting in. This is the right time based on these ratios, this indicator. Um, you buy in and then like hey it drops down right right after you buy it's a complete setup to me in my mind. It's a complete setup. Why would they not want the extra trades on the transactions, skim off the top, when market makers for payment for order flow are making the what is it, they're covering in casinos, they call it the vig, right? So they're getting the vig off the top of the trade, like the arbitrage they're collecting. So that's the Ken Griffin way. But yeah, so why even play that game? Just buy a GameStop. I bought more today. I will continue to buy. A broken record at this point. So let me just see the chat before I play Roaring Kitty's video. I got 2 people. I'm happy with all of this. I don't care. What's up, pushing? Yo, Bryce, what's going down? Exactly. Still buying, man. Um, I hope Ryan Cohen comes in and be like, and he'll be like, there'll be no conference call, and then he just says a statement, and you continue on because I completely trust him with my money. I was talking to one of my cousins or my wife's cousins. He's basically like my cousin. Last night he's like, "How's GameStop doing?" I'm like, "Bro, you need to invest." I think I was talking to him. I always talk to him about it because he hasn't invested at all. I'm like, you're looking for a company, like, look for this, this, this. I explain Ryan Cohen to him. We just talk about it. I tell him how the market's so manipulated and how they manipulate it. I've told him about dark pools, off exchange, different stuff like that. He was asking about GameStop. He's like, man, you really have a lot of faith in this guy, some random guy. I'm like, yeah, but you got to do the research in him. He's a man of faith. He has great business principles, a good moral compass on his shoulders, from what I can see. Any interview you go and look, it's like a book in his mind, like reciting off the top his e-commerce business principles. Like he knows it front and back, like the back of his hand. Um, so yeah, I trust Ryan Cohen completely. I think Moran said, like, I'll be there to back him every day. I'll be here to back him every day. You'll notice in every single one of my descriptions or titles or something, usually I have Ryan Cohen in there. And if I don't in this one, I'll put it in there. That would be wild if he ever looked at one of my streams. But yeah, I don't care, man. I really don't care. I don't care to be monetized, any of that. Dislike, unsubscribe. If you're seeing this, if you're subscribed, what I don't even know why. 'Cause I just really don't care. This is just like my kids are just gonna see how much of a genius I am at the end of all of this when they're like chilling, living good. But that would be a challenge. Having a lot of money, you don't want your kids ending up like Pulte. You have to still teach them. Look at my mindset, I'm thinking like 20 years, 10 years ahead. I'm gonna be like, I'm so rich because I'm just a smart ass investor, an elite investor, and I gotta focus on raising my kids right, teaching them to overcome obstacles in life, all of that. Not to turn away, not to run away when you're faced with a problem. But yeah, here's GameStop. Here's Roaring Kitty on Ryan Cohen. It's I was happy. I hope this just renews your sentiment, right, on GameStop, because we've been going down. Have we been going down? We've been expecting a pop. Whatever. I've just been accumulating nonstop, so that's been good for me. I'm happy with that. Let's see, and it looks we're bouncing off of this trend line, and I see us going up here. Where were we? 28, 29, and who knows what's going to happen in earnings? But like I said, I don't care if he comes through and he's like, no call, no questions. Here's my statement. Bam, slap this thing on the table. $100 million profit for the year. Peace out. You'll see us next year. Like do that, and then just keep working, keep grinding because he's been grinding. Um, all right, before I do the Roaring Kitty thing, here you go. I'm gonna show you how he's been grinding. Right here is cost of revenue. Let's start right here. And just to start off, when I was doing these calculations, I'm sure I wasted my time because they probably have the margins numbers down here, but whatever. Um, it's just good to do math sometimes and not just keep asking or entering stuff in. Just do math. That's it. Keeps your mind thinking good, thinking well, operating well. Here. What am I looking at over here? Cost of revenue, 75. It was cost of revenue. Okay, your cost of revenue consistently going down. Over here, it was 75.25%. It was on an upward trend, 77.5. And then Ryan Cohen became CEO and started turning it around. Cost of revenue now is going in a downward trend. But then also over here, different things play into it. There's COVID, different obstacles, supply constraints. A lot of different things played into it. So that could be a different cause. But now you can tell past the years downward trend. I think I don't see. I think some of these numbers are off. I can't trust stock analysis because if I were to just trust their numbers over here, the SG&A, this number was wrong. It's just a repeat over here. 1271, 1,271, or 1.2 $7 billion, right? Over here they had the 1.27 billion over here. It's actually 1.62. So SG&A is going down. You can see right over here, 32.5%. This is as a percentage of revenue. 32.5%, 27.8%, 27.3%. Now we're at 24.1%. What else is there to be said? If you look at it as a percentage, it's looking good. And another thing is that we're closing stores, so our SG&A is going up. Back here, we were closing stores as well. So the fact that SG&A is still going down, that's a great sign. Over here, we have net income. Net income, and look at this. Net income reported for 2024, they have it at 63.1, and I don't have the projected one on. So their numbers are a little off. We know the last is 6.7 million. So let's just look at that. What we know, negative. We're coming from 2021 from minus $381 million net income. Where is it? Right here. Minus $381 net income to a $6.7 million net income. Like, look at that flip. It's crazy. What is it? Almost a $390 million flip. That is nuts. That's wild. Like, let Adam Aaron do that, but he's not, and he won't because it's planted to go down. Um, AMC right now, 30 cents. GameStop closed at 23.50 on the dot, up 1.95%. Only at let me see, only at 2.8 million volume. It is dry out there. There is nothing movement. I mean, hey, it's gonna come in at earnings. Is Nat Turner gonna show a position or what? I don't know. But the beautiful thing is, I don't need it. I don't need it. Get some coffee. Yeah, I don't need it at all. We have our bullish divergence still going on over here. Downward trend. What am I? I'm over here. Y'all can't even see. I'm just looking at it. It looks beautiful to me. I enjoy watching this. I already showed you, but look at it again. Why not? TA bros, check it out. Bullish divergence. MACD is flat over here on this W pattern, and we have it go the lower lows over here on the actual chart. So I expect to bounce up, breaking out of this falling wedge. And earnings is coming right here. It looks like it's all timing up, lining up. Whatever, man. We're delivering profit because we're basically net even right now. We're basically even on net income. But why am I even here? What else? I got other numbers to talk about. Free cash flow. Free cash flow is going in the right direction. From minus 496, you can see over here, minus 238. I can't even trust this number over here. It's probably wrong, but we're headed in the right direction. This, I don't know. I have to even verify these numbers, right? But from minus 496 to minus 238 million over here, 2023. That's what sucks about these numbers. Like, I found that this SG&A of 2023 was off. So how can I trust any of this? Um, Over here, what I want to see, I know this gross margin is correct here. 22%, 23%, 24.5%, 27%. I want to see like 28%. Is it even right? I don't know. This one is right. This sucks, but whatever. You can tell, right? This is just proof. What is it? Evidence of absence is not absence of evidence, right? Is that the right one? Evidence of absence. Yeah, it's not absence of evidence. Absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. That's what it is. Absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. Okay, so this is the evidence. You can see the numbers all going in the correct direction. Operating margin from minus 6.33%. Now we're at negative 0.6%. Profit margin, it's going up from minus 6%, 6.3%. Now we're at 0.13%. This one's showing 1.46%. But we'll see. It's going in the right direction. Ryan Cohen has this thing. Like, we were headed towards an iceberg. Like, it was a setup, right? It was placed there. We were headed towards that iceberg. He has turned the thing around. I'm talking too much. So I'm really probably not going to be able to do any of this. I gotta bounce soon, but let me wrap this up, and maybe I'll do a later stream on Larry Cheng and some other stuff. Um, some other stuff. 14 minutes. Kitty.
Let me see this chat here. And yeah. Oh, so I mean, let's. Can I talk about GameStop? What can I say about GameStop? I mean, the funny thing is that I have a lot of the same feelings about everything. It's you kind of. I mean, I've talked a lot about GameStop and how I feel about the situation and all that. And I thought I wanted to hop on and kind of reiterate a lot of my viewpoints that I had previously. And yeah, I think remember if you remember my previous thoughts on the company and the opportunity, there was kind of like a two-part thesis to it. And that second part of the thesis is a reinvention of the business model or a transformation, whatever you want to call it. And I just, to remind people who, if you haven't seen my materials, is that we're in that second part of it here, where it's less about, I see over the past couple of years, I see an overemphasis on like that legacy business. And it's just, there's no over, it matters. It's not that it doesn't matter, of course, but they're in the transformation stage here. And what could they transform into? You know what I mean? There's a lot of question marks about that, understandably so. But essentially it becomes at this stage of that second part of the analysis, this transformation part, it becomes a bet on the management, in particular, of course, Ryan fucking Cohen. You know what I'm saying? Ryan Cohen and his crew. And that's what folks are should be focused on. You know what I mean? And that's probably going to be an ongoing debate as to how people feel about him, whether he can successfully transform that business. And those are great, great discussions. And there's those are good discussions that need to be had. And so when I look at the situation, though, and I'm kind of going to be echoing some of the thoughts that I had previously, is that I feel like I see enough where I believe this guy might be able to do it, right? That's not a guarantee. This is the same thing as before. I mean, I'm not promising anything, but over the long term here, I think he seems like the type of guy. He seems like he has those characteristics, and the way he approaches this seems like he might be able to do this. But again, that's not a guarantee. This is kind of like, it's kind of based on feel. You've heard me say that, right? And so I have that feeling. I have this feeling, and I'm like, all right, let me reiterate some of these feelings that I have. But it remains to be seen, you know. And you should keep your eye on stuff too. Reserve the right to change your mind about stuff, just like I do. Don't follow anyone blindly. Nothing on this stream is advice. Hopefully, you all know that, right? This is the same thing. But like when I have a feeling about that, it's like, all right, well, let me share it. I could be wrong about stuff, but I think, all right, let's talk about it. And I don't know. I think he has the characteristics that he could do this. In particular, I think we can all agree GameStop finds itself in a very unique situation, just like it did last time, right? Not just in the gaming space per se, but you have a company where you actually have so many people rooting for it, right? They're rooting for it to work out, myself included. How often does that happen? That folks like really want it to work out, and it's a highly unusual position, and it's so unusual. The way you manage that situation is you gotta manage it the right way. And honestly, the way he seems to be doing it, I think he's from a distance here, right? I have no idea, but I put myself in his shoes, and I think he's kind of seems to be taking the right approach, given this very unique situation that he finds himself, that the company finds itself in. You have a lot of investors kind of following what's happening, kind of wanting it to work out. You know what I say? That's very unusual. It's a very unusual situation, and I don't know if there's not too much precedent for it. You see it with some other companies. Especially when the CEOs or the managers are just so heavily investing themselves in the business, investing themselves in the turnaround. And there's some managers out there who are somewhat similar. So I see it in Cohen. So that I think that he has the type of he seems to be doing the right things. And I know the question marks will be, well, what has he done? What is he doing? What's the plan? You know, those are fair questions. But you know, do you really think he's been doing nothing, or that GameStop hasn't been strategizing, testing some things here and there, and how to move forward? I think that's pretty ridiculous. I think we've seen enough, in particular from him, to be honest. I think we've seen enough from him to think he's got a good head on his shoulders, and again, we haven't seen anything. It's speculation. You can argue that, but honestly, the way he seems to be handling this, and we don't know a plan, and that's fair. But boy, you're right-sizing the ship. You see even the legacy business cutting costs, trying to stabilize some cash flows, you know, just try to stabilize that legacy business. But now it's all about the transformation. And that cash pile is growing. It seems to be growing. Will they raise more money? We'll see. I don't know. I mean, I see it. But I think if you just change one factor, and that's that you don't think Ryan Cohen is a doofus, all right? If you don't think he's a doofus and he's not a fool, if you don't think that, and all of a suddenly they're sitting on billions of dollars in cash, right? And you actually think not only is he not a doofus, but he's extremely talented in that he has the capability to turn this around. Even if you don't agree with that, right? Even if you don't believe it, that's fine. If you just pause for a moment and think about that, I think it really changes your mindset. And so that becomes the bet. And I don't know. It's going to be a debate. But as time passes, you'll see more. That's the thing. I think some people say, oh, a lot of time has passed. We ain't seen shit. And that's fair, too. But again, I think because of the uniqueness of the situation, I think generally in this type of game, being quiet, working on stuff behind the scenes, and thinking about what you're going to do could be a good approach. That's not the end-all, be-all, right? We'll see where it goes from there. But it's a good starting point. And I personally don't think 3 years is too long in this case. 5 years, 10 years, all right. Like if we all wait 5 years, 10 years, you know, and it's like, all right, we're going to be going into the pet rock business. Come on, reserve the right to change your mind, just like I do. That's how you should approach this. But in this case, right, the absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. And it seems like people are quick to be like, oh, well, they haven't announced anything. The legacy business is struggling. Therefore, it's over. You know what I mean? I think that's just kind of silly, just because I think it could be, it's just not proof of anything. Now, again, they start selling some pet rocks, you know? All right, okay, let's revisit.
All right, so there you go. Keith Gill himself, the dude, the billionaire, coming from 55K to a billion. He said he sees enough, right? The day to day, don't invest in that. Just it's big picture. Right now, it's the transformation, the turnaround. What is Ryan Cohen doing? We don't know, but he is doing something. You can see it in the balance sheet. You can see it in the numbers. Do you believe in him? I do, absolutely. I'm gonna bet on the man that's betting on himself because he pays himself $0. He put his money in the shares. He's betting on himself. I'm betting on that. In football, I relate everything to football. I don't know why. I just love the game of football. But no matter where it be, middle school, high school, whatever. Just I like teaching football. I love football. Anyways, there's different types of players, right? There are players that have a natural physical traits, physical talent that get by all the way through college, and just because of talent disparity. But then when it becomes really tough, and everybody else is a pro athlete in the NFL, they don't hold up because they don't have the discipline in their mind. They just think their speed, their muscles, whatever, their strength is going to get by. But no, there's technique to everything. A technique sound player will be able to eliminate that player out of the game plan. Then you have other people that are just absolutely relentless, like relentless workers, nonstop, that run with a nonstop motor, that work with a nonstop motor. They don't stop until the refs blow the whistle. Those are the difficult people. Those are the ones just come one after another after another. It demoralizes you. That's going to be GameStop for anyone short GameStop. It's going to demoralize them. And that's how Ryan Cohen is. He's silent. He's quiet. He's going to demoralize anybody that's opposing GameStop. And he's betting on himself. He's a family guy. He's got kids. Like, I know he wants better for this world. So he's going to do better for this world. Just like me, probably just like you. If you have children, you just want them to grow up in a better place, a better world, an environment than we do. So that's my goal in life. You know, try to help people, communities, whatever, and teach my children to do that. So then when it comes time for their children, the same thing happens. I'm way out there, but there's relentless players and people that just get like relentless nonstop motor players, and I feel like that's who Ryan Cohen is. He's relentless. He's nonstop worker. Those are the difficult people because you know every single down you line up to play a snap, you know those people are going to bring it. The talented people, you can watch them out of some plays. They'll take plays off. They'll slack. That's Adam. Well, Adam Aaron ain't got no muscle, but you know what I'm saying. But that's the case. I'm betting my money on Ryan Cohen. The dude that has a good moral compass, a good view. It doesn't even matter. There's good people that don't believe in God, whatever, you know. But his guiding principles in his life, what his life is set up, and just in his interviews, the way he operates, and I like the way he operates. He operates like me, silent and violent. But yeah, let's see. And another cool thing, the dude doesn't even have a birthday listed. Just so private, and I like that. And that's the way we need to be. We'll strike. We'll strike when we need to strike. The earnings is gonna say it for him that he's been doing all the work. Just imagine, right? We're having new pro members, new pro member accounts. We have TCGs, PSA submissions for grading, the slab market that we're selling PSA graded cards, retro gaming, e-commerce, which we're navigating towards. There's many different avenues Ryan Cohen he's been working on. So there's your evidence right there. But until then, man, right now I gotta bounce. I wish I could stay on and finish it. I was gonna talk about Larry Cheng, his turnarounds. I'll talk about this really quick. Turnarounds are like baseball. The market might not reward your efforts until the game is won. That means for investors, you can join in after 7 innings and still be rewarded. But if you're joining in the first inning, patience will be required. Know which inning the turnaround is in. In my mind, like I was talking a month ago, we're in the 6th inning. Maybe we're in like 6th, 7th. He's giving you numbers, right? But I'm completely fine with Ryan Cohen coming in and not talking. Just continue to show his improvement. Continue to show his improvement. And another thing, this is separate from GameStop. The European markets are way overinflated. There has to be a pullback coming. We have inflationary issues, sentiment issues over here in the U.S. And if there is a pullback, you know it's going to stress out the derivatives market, any derivatives against GameStop, and maybe there'll be margin issues. But you know they'll bail them out. So in the end, we're here for GameStop for a long time. Can't stop, won't stop GameStop. I'm down with Ryan. I hope you are too. Peace. Let me see. If there's any chat. I want to address you. Einstein, Jesse, you, Mr. Over, can't stop, won't stop, man. Thank you for coming in. Benjamin, peace, guys. Have a good day. I'll try to see if I'll do a Larry Chang video or something like that. But we're looking good over here. We're looking good. Peace out, guys.